Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Games to Discover. I'm one of your hosts, Chris. I'm here with, as always, Mel. Mel, how the heck are you?
Uh, you know, uh, could be better, but I'm doing the show today, so
So, I'm alive and
still
breathing.
alive. I'm here kicking. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's just how it is sometimes.
yeah. You know the old famous saying, it is what it is. Uh, but yeah, so we're here to talk about video games, um, food we've eaten, and
Yes.
we also have a listener question yet again.
Ooh.
So we will dive in first with Mel. Please tell me the best thing you ate all week.
Okay, so you know how like some weeks where like you just kind of like focus on like one thing to eat like over and over again.
Yeah.
So this week for me was burrito week. I had a burrito like I don't know, like 4 out of like the 7 days I think. So I just been burrito phase crazy, I guess. I don't know. But like I had I think like two different types of burritos and I think I'm gonna have to give it to the unfortunately I'm gonna have to give it to the Taco Bell 5 layer burrito.
Oh
And
my
I say
goodness.
unfortunately because I have this vendetta against Taco Bell.
I didn't realize you were
Yeah, yeah. It's
Nemesi.
Taco Bell, me and Taco Bell, great, fans of yesteryear, early years in life. That was always one of my top choices to go for like a fast food thing. Cause like, like back in the day, you can get like a good amount of food for like $5,
Well,
and
yeah.
that would fill me like the entire day. Like nowadays, you have to do some little shenanigans to do like any kind of decent deal, which is what we did here for this little event. But anyway, I have a vendetta against them because a couple years ago they got rid of some items off of the menu,
Oh
and
yeah. I remember you're still mad about that. That's right. I do remember this.
yeah, this is still ongoing. This is like a 4 or 5 year vendetta, I guess, because he brought back like literally like every other item but mine, and that was the double decker. I'm a big double decker fan because I would just get a double decker and like another taco when I was done, but they haven't brought it back. So I don't like going to these Taco Bell places anymore because I'm still mad because
Yeah.
that was my favorite thing.
Rightfully so. I
I
mean, they should bring it back.
they don't want to bring it back because I think they have to do the pinto beans and they don't really have to use the pinto beans for anything else. So it's like we don't want like this one item for like this one thing. But like that's what makes double decker is the pinto beans because like the pinto beans is basically like a paste to where it just holds the other like tortilla to like the hard shell. But it gives it that kick that I really like, for like the fake food because Taco Bell is like fake food, but like when you're craving like a fake food like that or like Olive Garden, like nothing really beats that craving until you
Olive
eat it.
Garden, yeah.
Yeah, that's fake food. Like, come on. I still go there, but like I'm not going there for like, oh, I'm getting some real Italian food. Oh, it's super good. No, it's like no, I'm going there for my fake food and my breadsticks. It's the same concept of Taco Bell. So you know, I had the ability to eat, out of Taco Bell, and that's the item I was given. And let me tell you, whoever packed this certain burrito did an amazing job. Because sometimes when you go to these places, it's like they barely put anything in there. It's like, here you go. It's technically food, technically what we gave you. But this thing was probably like two and a half burritos into like one burrito. I'm going through like 4 bites. I'm like dying already. I'm like I'm not even halfway through, but it's really delicious. It's really filling, and I have to give it to them. Unfortunately, even though I don't want to. Those are just
Yeah. The now the in terms of last night I made myself some cheeseburgers, and I made it into like a double cheeseburger, and I took like two burger patties, right, and then I
Mhm.
cut them in half, and then added the seasoning and some. I chopped up, diced up some onions, put them in there too, and diced up a little bit of cheese, put that in the meat, right, and then I took the burgers because I had two burgers. I turned it into four burgers. So then um, I just had like two double cheeseburgers, but
Yeah.
it was like the size of, like, they were kind of like smash burgers.
Oh,
Um,
that's pretty good.
yeah, so they were good. And then I got some Cooper Sharp cheese, threw that on there, and that was good. And then yeah, that was probably it. I had a steak the night before that was good, but the cheeseburger, because I made like my own like Big Mac sauce, so that was good.
Oh, you're a Big Mac sauce person.
I
Okay.
not, but it just happened to see it
Oh,
on my feed, and then I was like, you know what,
oh,
I
okay.
have the ingredients. I'll just whip it up, just whip it all up and make it.
You are so adventurous. I would never do that. Especially with a hamburger? No, I wouldn't do it.
I was like, well, I don't like it. Try. Won't try it with the next one. Um, but yeah, and then some French fries with it, but they were just
Of
steak
course. Yeah,
fries. But yeah,
yeah, that's not too bad. Because I was gonna give you crap for picking the hamburger over the steak, but honestly, I would have done the same thing. Because I just love hamburgers.
I know something about just the burgers with the um, and I used, what was it, Martin's potato rolls.
Ooh, fancy over here.
Yeah, we're out here living. But yeah, I like those. So I ended up eating them. Um, let me see here. So then, um, yeah, so that's what we've been eating. By golly, well, our favorite thing we ate this week. We did get a question, like I said before, from Hopple. Hopple wrote in again. The Hopple hour is upon us. Hopple wants to know: do you love a franchise that much that you would buy a bad game just because it's part of the game, that game universe? Example: playing Andromeda because it's part of Mass Effect. And then he gave his example, and
Oh, that's
I'll
fun.
read that before we get into ours. But his dark and secret game, he got Gollum for quote unquote free. He said in parentheses with rewards points because he really loves Lord of the Rings.
Uh,
So he's big fan of Lord of the
oh,
Rings. He was playing Lord of the Rings Return to Mordia, which is kind of like a survival game where you're just building up stuff like your place in Mordia in the caves. Um, he also wrote, I also love Yakuza like a slash like a dragon, but this new Pirates on Hawaii is way too crazy for a Yakuza game. I would say it's not crazy enough.
really?
Yeah,
Wow, that's shocking. Because like, I thought that looks really fun, and I really like that character in particular for the franchise.
yeah,
So I'm looking forward to trying it, or eventually. It
yeah.
may not be like a day one type of thing, but I hope like the Lords of the Rings people send him some kind of something for
For
playing that golf
getting,
game because
yeah.
that's something up.
I think he's playing another game right now, and then he's playing through, I think Yakuza right now, and then when he's done with that, he's going to go back to the. He's going to Gollum, and he's going to play
No,
through it.
no,
Well, I don't know
no.
if he's going to play through it all, but he's going to play at least try
He's a big trooper for doing so
it.
because
Yeah,
I saw some streams of that and that's
yeah.
can be classified as a game, I guess.
Yeah, I saw some people playing it as a form of punishment. They lost a bet and they had to play through it.
Yeah, that's primarily what the ones I saw too. Or they're trying to break it even more, that type of
Yeah,
thing.
and I think someone like kind of funny is like they're they have like 1 through 10, and each number has a rating, and number 10 is like a masterpiece or something, and then number one is Golem bad or something like that.
Golem. I did see like in some places they had like the Golem sticker
Yeah.
because like because like there was like I forgot the game, but like there was like this one game that came out like a couple weeks after it, and it's so like worse than Gollum, and like the sticker was like like Gollum approved or something, like can't be.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But what about you? Is there a franchise that you like, you know what, I'm just gonna play this because I love it so
Uh,
much, even if it's not something I'm crazy about?
it would have to be like insanely cheap. Someone gave it to me, and I actually like respect their opinion. So, like I would go in thinking, hey, they're actually giving me like something good to play. I wouldn't think it's like, oh, they're giving me this trash to play. I'm gonna play the trash. But I wouldn't intentionally go out of my way to play this, and I'm not entirely certain what the word bad here means because
Hmm.
when I say something is a bad game, it for the most part, personally for me, I just consider it boring. But like some people are just like, no, this game's just bad because like it's like it can't function well, the story's bad, the gameplay's bad. If I can find something in those types of games to play and still enjoy myself, I wouldn't say it's all the way bad. I would just say this part's bad, or certain segments of it's bad. But like this Gollum example, like no, I'm not gonna torture myself playing it. And if
Yeah.
I somehow do play a game that I consider bad, that's just like boring, I would be like, oh, I thought this was actually going to be good. Like I'm not playing it because it's bad. Because I have so many things I want to play, and a lot of
Yeah.
the things I typically want to play are very long games. They're like 40 plus hours. So like I don't really have the ability right now to just be like, oh, I'm gonna play this trash for fun. Like
Right.
if I had like a community and I was like, showing people stuff, it could be like a fun little night or two, just doing something like that. But like as of right now, I can't see myself purposely playing something terrible, and I would avoid buying it because I don't want to be like, hey, yeah, this is good enough for like my money. Because that's how these companies view things. They don't really view things from like, like listening to like us talk about it. It's like, hey, did they actually show up and buy it? How much did they show up and buy it for? That's what they are viewing stuff as. Now, some companies will send out little surveys and stuff. I do fill those out, but like for the most part, you're not getting it for like each and every game.
Right.
So they're not going to see that unless they send somebody to like storm like the Steam reviews, and all those companies are not doing that. Maybe some of these smaller like indie guys, you do see them actually in like answering questions, and I do really like stuff like that. But no, I don't really like to purposely buy bad stuff. I like to watch people who buy bad stuff. I get my fun out of that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
What about Sonic Free Riders? Were you a fan of that one? Did you ever play it?
I did play this, but
Okay, well, there we go.
I was going into it thinking it was good, but I still like that more than Heroes. I'm a big anti Sonic Heroes fan, so I don't like that one at all.
How about Amiibo Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival?
Oh my! I have like a side story with this, and I don't even know if I can say it
Okay. Well, if you
because
can't
like
say it, you can't say it.
I'm gonna try to say it as much as possible. But like I need like this guy because like he was a part of like this like a little like little group that I would check in every now and then, and he was talking about playing it, and he was enjoying himself. He was having fun, and I was interested because that was like the first person I saw that's like, hey, I'm actually having fun with this. I was like, oh, are you playing with like your family, your friends? He's like, no. And I was like, no. He's like, yeah, I'm just playing by myself. I'm like, okay. So like, what is the fun object you're doing in this game? And he's like, well, I have to do blah 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 to collect like Digby's raincoat, and like he had to do like a whole bunch of tasks to do that, and I was like, "You don't have anything else to play? Like really?" He's like, "No, not really. I'm just doing this thing to unlock it." I'm like, "Why are you doing this to unlock it?" He's just, just to unlock it. Because I was not understanding like the concept of playing this bad game to
Yeah.
unlock something, but he's not playing with other people just to unlock it. And I was like,
Yeah. So,
I was like, this is one of the saddest things I read here, and that says something. And he did not like, but I was clearly joking. But he took it pretty harshly, and like every Twitter, I see him on Twitter every now and then. Every time I see him on Twitter, I just die laughing because I remember that exchange.
of him
Because he
just
took
really
my
into
joke
it was
and
me.
me.
You can just say it. You know, I know we're on the show. You can just say it. Just say it was me. It's fine. You don't have to tell this whole story behind my back right in front of my face.
I was trying to do, the best,
Yeah, be
hidden
subtle about it.
identity thing
Yeah.
possible.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate it.
because I really do think the concept of that game can be fun. It's just that was trash. And I remember seeing it in Walmart for like $12, I think. And I think I posted to you, like a picture of it to you, and I was like, "Desperation does not look good," or something.
Oh
And I
yeah.
sent it to you. I was like, "This is too desperate," because they're trying to move the product off. Because I think it was right next to like another M for like $5, I think. And I was like, "This is just like desperation zone idea, or something like that." But yeah, I would just not buy something intentionally bad just to have like a full collection of stuff. Like if I was gonna be like a Zelda collector, I wouldn't get like the CD buy games. I wouldn't do it.
Oh yeah. Well,
But I can understand from like a collection purpose, like if you want to get like everything. But like
yeah.
you're not seeing me get the virtual boy. I'm not doing that.
Oh, I would
You
for
know.
sure. Yeah. Please.
I know.
Yeah. When I was younger, I only say when I was younger because they stopped doing this, but it would be like, when they would do the movie games,
Oh
and
yeah.
the game would be different. Okay, on it would be different on like PS2 than it was on. It was like different on PS2 or GameCube than it was on the GBA, than it was on the DS, like when they had all those different versions, or even back in the day when they would have, like, even if they weren't that great, I would still want to get each one just so I could try and see what the differences are. But in terms of like a franchise, yeah, like, I could just tell like the game didn't look very good, but if there was a game in like the Resident Evil series, I would just go ahead and get it. You know, I
Oh,
would
so that's the
just.
one.
I guess that must be it. Yeah, Resident Evil.
Anything about it that makes you would get that like over the other franchises? I guess.
I think it's because I'd be like, oh, um, I like what they did with this game. I used to have the same issue where, with movies when I was growing up, where I would be like, I like this actor, so why wouldn't I want to watch him and everything he's in? Then you realize, oh, you can tell the difference when an actor does like a movie for themselves than when they do a movie for the paycheck. And
Yeah.
so you can't really focus on them doing all of them. But yeah, I was like, okay, all right. Um, I really something about the Resident Evil games. I would just play all of them. I even played it like on the game.com, the
Oh wow.
yeah. But yeah, Resident Evil DS, I got that. I beat it. I was like,
I played that too.
um, because when it comes to like a game, I would be like, oh, I played this game on the PS1, so I want to see what the difference is when if it's on the Dreamcast, I'll try that to see if I can tell any differences. For Resident Evil 1, I played it on like the PS1 originally, and then I played it again on the Saturn because of what they had on there, which was it was like it was pretty much all the same except they had like one zombie that was like a poison zombie and it would poison you, and so you had
Mhm.
to use the antidote for that. And that was like the addition that they added to that version. But I would do that for like a bunch of different versions. But yeah, like if a game is gonna come out, uh, the problem is I would usually get the games. I'm better at it now about not having to get every game right when it comes out. Um, but before I would be like, oh, I need to get everything, just because I want to play it and then talk about it.
Yeah,
But so the problem is, I would be like, I'm gonna try out this, Sega racing game that could be good but couldn't be good. So it's like I'm always like taking a risk with those, and then when the game comes out, I find out, oh no, that was terrible. The same sort of thing with like some of these like Pokemon games, like the side games for those. They're always like hit or miss. You're not sure if you're gonna like them or not. Um, but yeah,
yeah, because those side games, the Pokemon ones, like they either have like a hardcore like community for them, or it's like nobody. It's like you know,
right.
like like the mystery dungeon games, like those things don't like review well, but like they're those great fans of those. They're diehard fans of those, and I know like Ranger has a good amount of fans, but like nobody cares about like Pokemon Dash, or like what was like the little Rumble game? Like nobody cares about that either. And
Oh,
then you
Pokemon
got
Rumble.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, and then you got people like me who got really into like the little puzzle ones, like Puzzle League,
Oh yeah.
the one on the DS, and like I was hooked on that cafe nonsense for like
Oh
a year
yeah.
and a half.
Pokemon Cafe. Is that what it's called?
It's like I think it's Cafe Remix now because they
Yeah.
like they relaunched it. We did the systems when they relaunched it. That was the cutting point for me. I was like, I'm free. I'm out. I don't know to keep showing up anymore. But I really did like it for some reason. But you know, it's just how it is sometimes with some of this side stuff.
But yeah.
Because I do like to take risks, especially like back in the day, just going to Blockbuster and just pick up a random title just based off the box art or like reading the back of the box. It's just like nowadays, I think we have like just more knowledge and the ability to look up more knowledge of stuff so we can make better choices.
Yeah.
So I don't fall into like getting bad stuff often enough anymore. If I actually do get something bad, it's like they bamboozled me. It's like it showed up like near the end game or in the middle of the game, or they hid it from like showing stuff. You know.
Yeah. And then not only that, but then we have like stuff like the um I forget what it's called. The like um where if it's a game that I end up playing in like a series that I really like Yakuza, then I
Mhm.
will be like, I want to go back and play all of the old Yakuza games, even if it's just for like an hour, to check it out. And I did that
Yeah.
with the one in Japan. I think it was like a zombie one, and it just that was not it. But I still wanted to go back and check it out because of that. So I guess that would be closer to this answer. But yeah. Like we
Hmm.
said, if you ever want to get in touch with us, just reach out to one of us. If you don't know how, good luck. And then yeah, we'll answer your question on the show. But then in terms
Thank
of
you again,
yeah, Hopple.
Apple question.
Shout out to Hopple. But then yeah, if there's in terms of the questions, that was the only one, but we did end up playing some video games this week. I had planned on playing a lot more games this week than I did, and so therefore
Yeah.
I
All right.
ended up just going back and playing some older stuff. But yeah,
I
you beat Mario and Luigi, right?
Yeah, I beat Brothership because the last time we talked, I was in the third sea, kind of going into the fourth sea because there's like five major seats, and I ended up beating it, and I still mostly hold the same opinion I had of last week, but there was a couple of little more little not like issues, but like things that popped up that I was like, oh okay, I can see where some of these people were coming from, the outlook and stuff.
Oh, right,
Because
with their thought on it.
yeah, and I know we forgot to mention last week about the like automatic Luigi stuff on the overworld because like
Oh,
you don't
right.
control him as much. But personally, I don't have an issue with that because we've been playing like 5 games, like even more if you played like the remakes of some of these games of like controlling like both of them on the overworld. So you know what? I'm fine with the break for this game. If they want to do it again, whatever. That's not a big issue for me. But he did kind of screw me over a couple of points with the automation thing because like there's a couple of these puzzles where you have to do like a number thing in order, and like sometimes he would just like go like sonic speed to the next number, like, and you have to go in like number order. So like I'm trying to go to 5, he's like zooming to 6, and like five's like on the other side of the thing. I'm barely like creeping to 5, and he's already touching 6 and gotta start all over again. And there was like one of them that was like 25. He had to go up to 25, and
Yeah.
he hit like the button like 3 times before me. I was like, come on. Like that's one of the parts where I wanted to control him. Just be like, okay, I can do this, You're just adding on more steps to me, Luigi. But yeah, I went back into it and I finished it. Cause
Oh, there you
like I
go.
said earlier, I was doing it in parts. Like I would play for like 2 or 3 hours at a time and drop it, come back and come back. It's just when I got to like the last section, because like the game kind of makes you think like, oh, you're close to the end, and then it's like, no, there's like the whole nother arc you have to do, and it's like, oh, okay, that's not so bad. And then you're actually doing these motions, and it's like, oh, I should have took another break here. I should have took another break here. Like if I chopped it up a
Right.
little more defined, I would have not been as like sluggish and drawn out with this stuff. And then I made the mistake in the last dungeon of not using my plugs as much because I love the plug system, but like there's certain plugs I want for the boss battles, and I want them in a certain way before I go into it. So like when I'm in there, it's like I can do it instantly. I can do all the stuff I want. Because for some of these plugs, it's like a countdown. It's like, hey, once this gets to 0, like all your health and brother points, it goes back to 100%. It's like, hey, once this goes to 0, like these plugs that you have in the plug stuff, they charge faster. So like I was getting that down to like 1. So like when in the battle, I can just plug them in for that turn and just instantly get the benefits from it.
Yeah.
What the game doesn't tell you is just like it automatically puts like all of those plugs back to full health. So it's like, oh, I was doing all this nonsense stuff of like planning out not using certain plugs, or like counting down to certain plugs for this fight, and it's like you healed them instantly. Because the game like doesn't do that in like any other fight, in like any other portion of the game. It doesn't do that. It's like whatever plugs you have, it's like that's what you have to go into. I was doing the whole dungeon like plugless basically, and that is a terrible idea. Don't do that because it drags out like the entire game because there's so many enemies in those fights, and like they have so many moves that take a long amount of time, and they do so much damage because I was like 46 I think when I beat the game, like my levels. And
Yeah.
they were still like knocking off like nearly like half my health if I get hit. I know the thing is like, oh, don't get hit. I was like, hey, after a while you get tired. So
What about like how long do you think you ended up playing it?
oh, it showed my time at the end because like
Oh, okay,
um
yeah.
me save it shows the time. I hit like 56 hours, and I think if I didn't do the nonsense I did for the last dungeon, and if I didn't have trouble with two of these boss fights, like rematches, because like for some of these side quest stuff, you can go back to fight some of these earlier bosses. and there's like they have like new uh like new fight. It's not like entirely new, but like they move faster, they hit harder, that type of thing. And there was just like one of them in particular that I was attempting to do, like 8 or 9 levels below the recommendation. But like I was so determined to do it because I'm a very stubborn person when I go into these fights and stuff like that. I want to complete it if I see it. As soon as I see it, I want to complete it type of thing. And especially with this plug system, I think you should be able to beat stuff that you're not supposed to be able to beat. You just have to strategize correctly. So I was just strategizing with the plugs I have, and I was just attempting to just do this fight. And I was on this fight for like maybe like 2.5 hours. Like maybe if I just waited for that fight and just came back later to do it, but
Yeah.
I beat it. I did beat it, and I got like these really good shoes that when you hit somebody with an excellent, you get like health back. So like I
Oh,
never had
those
to
are
heal
good
like
shoes.
Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I kept that, and then like before you do like the final dungeon, there is like it's like a story reason you have to go back to like nearly like all these other islands to collect something. And like the first 2 or 3, I was like, okay, this is not so bad. But then like it just drags out. It's like you got to get like 8 of these things. And then there's like a story reason for like one of them where I felt like it shouldn't have been in there. There should have been another person that should have been included. But
Yeah.
I guess that's just a nitpick at me personally because basically it's like you have to go around and find like the best people with like the best bonds, and you have to get something from them. So it's like whoever made like the best like impression on like each other or like through like the Mario Brothers type of thing. I just felt like there was like one person in particular that should have been in there and it wasn't, but I don't know why. And it bothers me. It probably shouldn't bothers me as much because there's still other great examples in the game that wasn't included in this section as well. And I think if you didn't include all of them, it would have made it even longer because that section alone was still like probably close to like 2 hours for me. And I should have stopped playing that session of playing after that. But I made the mistake of going, oh well, no, let's go to the final dungeon. And then I started doing the final dungeon, and then there's like this one room where you have to get like 8 little keys to unlock the door, and like at some of those rooms are just like there's like 10 or 15 enemies you have to dodge in there, or like another section is like, oh, there's like all these puzzles you have to do, and like when you're like really drained and tired, like sometimes you're not like thinking efficiently for these puzzles. Because like I was trying one of them and I was like, how the hell are you supposed to do this? And then like the next day was like a clear head. I was like, oh, I was an idiot last night. This is how you do it. And I did like instant. So like it's just like I was trying to marathon the end of it because I was excited to see it because I'm very invested in this story. Like I said last week, I liked how the side quests really were about people you like interact with. You saw more of those little side stories. Progress. And then like I was just trying to do too much too fast, and then you fight somebody, and then like it's like, hey, it's not this part. It's like you have another 2 phases of this, and then before you find like the final boss, there's like this section of there's this little segment that happens, and I think it's a really cool segment, like story wise, and I think it's very unique and for like the Mario Luigi franchises to actually do it. And I liked how it played out. I just felt like it played out too long because like you have to do this thing like 6 or 7 times. If they did it like 2 or 3, I think it would have had the same impact and it would have been really neat. But then like when you do it like 3 extra or 4 extra times, it's just like, okay, come on. Like we're dragging a little bit here. We got the point, we got the message. I think you're losing me a bit. And then I should have stopped there again, but I made the mistake of not doing that. And then I had like 3 phases of boss fights, and I really liked the final boss. I thought it was a very fun, interesting thing. It actually kind of did remind me of like Toby Fox enemy, a creation. Like
Oh,
for the
okay.
final boss, it
Yeah.
really felt like I really like his stuff. So like that was really cool to me. I wasn't expecting seeing that because story wise, you kind of see why this person isn't the final boss. Like you kind of get it, but it seems kind of late when they introduced it. But I did feel like this final guy had like enough screen time. I guess it's just like the section before with him did kind of drag a bit. I do wish that was kind of cut a little bit, but I did like the final fight because you know, you get to use all your ability stuff. There is three sections. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what exactly happens in the second section because I did like this setup of moves where like I just kind of like took half his health in like two
Oh, okay.
turns.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens. I have to look up a video to see that. But like after you beat it, there's nothing like you can go back to do. It's just kind of like, oh, this is your last seat. You can kind of do it, that type of thing. So if you want to do like all the side quest stuff, you have to do it like before, like you go to this final battle. And I did end up missing two battle plugs. Technically, I could have bought one, but I didn't because I was saving for the next one. But I don't know where I missed these sprite things to collect them at because I looked at my map and I didn't see any sections of where I missed it, but I guess I missed it somehow. So I wasn't able to collect all the plugs, but I collected all the plugs I was gonna honestly use because some of these plugs are just super amazing. Like there was this one that lets you do a full entire move again, and then there's these other ones that like they charge up your stuff, or like the grow moves get like a very big boost, and I was like, at the end of the game, I was doing like 2,700 damage in some of these bullet attacks. And I do hold the same opinion of the beginning being kind of a drag and the ending being kind of a drag. But partially the ending being kind of a drag is partially my fault for this final dungeon shenanigan thing I was trying to do because I was overthinking it. If you just play normally, I think it'd be, better. But maybe, you don't want to do like the 8 room dungeon in one go. Maybe you do want to do like a little break. I would suggest that. Because I do think this one is a very good Mario Luigi game. It's just I think you get moves too slow, the intro's too slow, and the ending can drag. But I really hope they do get another chance at making another one. It's just with the news we saw earlier this week. I don't know if that's going to happen with
Oh,
this
yeah.
particular
It
team.
might not end up being the case.
Yeah,
Ugh. But yeah, Mario and Luigi Brothership. I'm still playing it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Um,
yeah. I mean, you're always playing a bunch of stuff though, so because that's how you are. You get a lot more stuff than I do,
yeah,
and
but you'll
I
see
tend to
things
hyper
to
focus
more
on like
games
one.
to the end than I do. I think is safe to
Yeah,
say. But yeah, that's Brothership. I'll still be playing it. I like chipping away at it. This might be the last game from Acquire apparently because they're well, not only did it not review as well as I'm sure as Nintendo had hoped, but it
yeah.
also did not sh- um, seem to sell as well. It didn't sell as
It seems
well.
like it's doing okay, but
Yeah,
it's like a holiday title.
yeah.
It
I
should
guess
be
it
doing
depends on the
okay.
budget really and how much it ends up selling. But yeah, the Acquire who made this game, their parent company is, uh, I guess, rumored to be in talks of being bought by Sony. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah,
But
I personally hope that doesn't happen
well, yeah.
because that's a lot of stuff Sony can get. Not even game wise. It's just like for the anime stuff. That's just too much for them. And I like the Aquarius stuff, but like I like the triangle strategy stuff. A lot of people like the path travel stuff. I'm not as big as a fan as those, but I gotta go back to triangle strategy actually. That might be a game I play with the holidays.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, if you end up playing that. Um,
Yeah, because there's like 4 or 5 routes to that, so I can probably do
I was thinking
a
about
route or two,
going
maybe.
back and playing that. Yeah. Um, well, so Microsoft has a a new thing going on right now, or not. I guess it's not a new thing going on right now. They announced it yesterday, I think. So I'm
Mhm.
big into cloud gaming, right? So
Yeah,
um,
you're the cool guy.
Sony announced that you can now just download an update for the portal, and then you can just play and stream the games that are on there, um, which I think it's like 120 games. And then Microsoft announced that cloud gaming is coming for games that you own, starting with 50 games, but then more are being added. But as long as you have a Game Pass Ultimate membership, you can not only play all the games on what's called on Game Pass in the cloud wherever you end up playing them, but then they added like 50 games, including Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D. So,
Oh, that just came out.
yeah. So, I was like, oh, that's exciting. So yeah, they have that, and then a couple of other games, but a lot. I'm pretty much all the Square Enix games, which is wild that they have them on there. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to play some more of those games. I'll be playing some next week, like Stalker
Ooh,
2,
okay.
and I want to try Stalker 2 through Xbox Cloud Gaming streaming, and then GeForce Now to like see the difference. So we'll see how
Oh,
that
that'd be
goes.
interesting because yeah, I saw very little of that, but
Right,
it's
yeah.
something.
It is first person, so I don't know. You,
Yeah, I couldn't watch too much, but I
yeah,
saw a little bit.
got to stay away for the sickness. Um,
Hmm.
but then in terms of like games that I did play, not actually cloud games, were Neo Neo Rescue Squad. Hold on, wait. Let me make sure I got that right. I think it's Neo. Um, I think. Oh, Neo Harbor Rescue Squad. I apologize. Yeah, so Neo Harbor Rescue Squad is um, the new game from Bancy Co. They did some like Alone with You, Home, Worse Than Death. They were all like 2D plain game, like 2D games with like 3D environments. Like you would run around those, and they were kind of like basically action adventure, like storytelling games. But yeah, this one here is Neo Harbor Rescue Squad. You even have a dolphin as a teammate. But what they
Oh,
do is
okay.
instead, this game is kind of like so there is a story in between levels, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like um, really, it's just like the story is there. Um, I've been trying to read as much of it as I can, but it is not very enjoyable. Um,
Okay. You're not invested into the lives of these people, I'm guessing.
yeah, no, they're basically just talking to you to get from one mission to the next. That's basically it. The dolphin is always in in the enclosure, but the dolphin like comes with you or talks to you and gets you to like clean around the center. So it's like it's this game is kind of like Trauma Center meets WarioWare, where it was like um which I guess Trauma Center is kind almost I would say Trauma Center is less like WarioWare because there's actually like stuff where you need to do like meticulous things where this is like seems like a bunch of just fast-paced mini games because you work as like a paramedic and you need to go through and help these people out. So you're like, let's say you go and there's a big like earthquake or something, and then there will be like four people on the screen at once, and then it'll tell you what mini game you're going to be needing to do to them, and then
Mhm.
like the bar slowly moving down. If you don't get it fast enough, they'll lose some of their health, right? And
Yeah,
so then you need to quickly, not only is it like making sure you're switching back and forth and doing them, but then also getting them in the right order too. So it's like time doesn't stop. You know, it's definitely one of those fast-paced minigame games.
yeah,
And the problem is some of the mini games just not that fun, and you're doing them over and over and over again. Where in one level you might do the same mini game, and if you're not a fan of that mini game, you got to do that same mini game like 6 times, and then um, you're like, that just was not enjoyable. Um, but yeah, this is pretty much just like that. Trauma Center, you would be like using the touch screen and like stitching a person back and forth. This you just kind of like somebody has like burns on their hand, on their arm, forearm,
yeah,
and you just kind of tip the right stick to pour the bottle of like um you know whatever
the
it is.
air, I guess. You know.
Yeah, yeah, because they'll have like poisonous poison oak sort of like on their body, and then you gotta like just rub the cream on it and just tilt the bottle and then just spread it on there and then do it that way, and it's just not quite as in depth as I was hoping.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it you know I I just I was so excited for this game because I was like, oh, we're gonna get a new Trauma Center game, and then turns out no. Um,
uh, this sounds a little bit more grounded than Trauma Center, because Trauma Center does have like just regular missions, but like in the earlier games especially, there's like this unique virus that's not like, you know, in the world today. You know, it's just like these crazy things that can happen. It sounds like this is actually more ground to earth, and it sounds like each little mini game you do is just that. It's just like one little mini game, because like for each trauma center mission, it's a full on mission. You're there for like several minutes on like the same guy, and then sometimes there's like multiple guys you have to go through in like trauma center, and you know, to do like this thing, but they don't give you like an option of how to do it. It's just like, here's the next one. It sounds like here you have the ability to choose, maybe I want to go to this guy next or not, or am I mistaken?
no, yeah, that's exactly it. You get a pick, but then it's just instead of like doing that, it's like, oh, here's this person, right? So the mini games are always the same in the sense that the people that you're clicking on to help are
Mhm.
they all look different. The art looks good, but then when you get to the mini game, it's the same exact person in the mini game, in the look of the mini game. So it's like you're just doing it to this just generic person that the fill in, and then it ends, and then as soon as it ends, they just whoop go get cleared off the screen, and you're like, oh, I did that one, and then it does your checks your notes to be like, okay, let's see, you did 10, let's see, you did 8 patients, 8 of them you are stabilized now. You didn't fail. You failed like 2 of the things, but they were still able to. You were able to do enough of them that they were still able to make it out. And yeah, it 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 there's a lot of talking, and then not quite as much, um, you know,
Actually
harboring,
playing.
rescuing. Yeah, but
Yeah, so 'cause I do like the concept of you being able to choose who you want to work with if you have multiple people to, you know, help. But it sounds like just going to help these people, you doing these particular mini games are just not giving you the satisfaction. Because I think if they were a little, I don't know, more in depth or like better or like more unique, I guess,
yeah,
having this. fight of okay, who do I save now first, and like how fast can I do it, and how correctly can I do it. That excites me. But you're just saying these mini games are just not that fulfilling. So that is giving me a big bummer because I knew from just looking and after hearing you last week a little bit before we actually got into recording that it wasn't going to be like my trauma center replacement, but I still like trauma center adjacents. But it sounds like this is not gonna exactly fill my itch for that either, which is disappointing
It
because I
was.
do like to support new stuff too.
Yeah, it was quite disappointing when that happened because I was like, "Oh, this is exciting," and then instead, brum, 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 like I said, yeah, you get like three people. Let's say you got three people on the screen. One person has like three different mini games that you need to do. Um, some of those mini games might have like three phases. But then,
Yeah,
okay, let's say you do the first mini game. Like, let's say you need to use like the paddles on somebody, right? And then after you do the paddles, you lift them on the gurney. Um, and so you do those, and then it uses one patient as the like that you're doing that too. And then you get to the next mini game, and it's a different person that you're doing this um in this mini game. It's like a different default patient that you're doing it to, and then you get to the third one, and then and then a third patient that looks nothing at all like the person that in the image that you are helping, and so it's just like so just disconnected and disjointed, I guess, is my issue with it. um I mean, I know it would have been a lot of work to get all those patients, but they could have at least changed it up a little bit where it just is like this when you do the defibrillator and you're shocking the person's chest, it's always the same person over and over and over again. And it's just I don't know. Um
I, I get both reasons for that because it obviously saves on time and
yeah.
they can put out more stuff potentially. But I'm a big immersion person myself as well, so that would bother me a lot actually.
Yeah, was not a fan. Um, but yeah, so I was Neo Harbor Rescue Squad. That's out now, only on Steam for 19.99. I believe it was on sale, but it is no longer on sale. I really like the look of the game and the art style. They did a good job with that. And then just trying to get myself to enjoy it, but I keep playing it hoping that there's maybe they'll have add more to it later. Um
Yeah,
I mean it even this is out on Steam and on PlayStation. But 4 and 5. So
ooh,
but this one here it like it says, "Oh, hey, there is like dialogue choices," but the dialogue choices are like it'll have two choices. You can say something this way or this way, and then if you say it the one way, they'll be like, "What? Why would you say that?" And then you have to select the other one and select that to
okay.
move on. So it's not um
Not really a choice. It's like illusion of choice.
yeah,
Okay,
it's definitely a
and that
lot of
just
mini
that just makes
games.
more reading. That makes more reading for you, which you're not gonna like either. So
Not a big fan of reading. Yeah. Um who has time? But then yeah, the but yeah, I am playing it on Steam. It has really good controller support. Um, I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, we end up getting this on other platforms. That would be nice.
I think it's a potential chance.
But yeah, I plan on
Sometimes
playing some
make
more of it. Hopefully, I can like they'll unlock new mini games or something else will happen that I just haven't found yet or seen yet. Um,
at
be,
least you're willing to try it. It doesn't sound you're totally torn off of this, because sometimes
yeah,
when we play stuff, it's like, no, I can't push myself through this at all. But
right. They did
you know,
like as I'm playing, they did slowly start to introduce some new um some new ones, like some new challenges and levels, like mini games. But I don't know how many more they're going to release. And until that time, I guess I'll just have to hope beyond hope that it gets better. But yeah, Neo Harbor Rescue Squad. That's one of the things I've been playing this week. Um, Mel,
Yeah,
do you want to go next?
it's up to you. I mean, I only have one thing after. I mean, I only have one thing particularly right now. But
I think,
if you
yeah.
want to go,
Uh, yeah. I guess I can talk about Townkeeper real quick. Real quick.
sure.
Townkeeper is a game that I've been playing. I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying my time with it. Townkeeper is like a top-down, um, basically town builder roguelite game where it's like, okay, you need to you it starts off, there's squares, and then top down squares. It's um I'm playing as like little bunny villagers, and so like the art style is very much it looks almost like an old, like a pixel art old school looking game. But what happens is you start off in the center, you put your like village, your town square, and then what you need to do is like build up around it. And so there's like trees around it, and when you put something down, it'll show you like squares around that square, and be like, okay, these squares you now will take over the trees that are there, and then you can just tap them all to get rid of them. And then you have those resources of the trees. And then when you get to the edge of a tree, you can, like, to where the trees are, you put another like building down, whether it's uh like a lumber yard or a um a hunting tent, and then it'll open up usually the three squares to the right, left, up, and down. So it's like
Mhm.
the all of those squares, and then you do that, and then you open up even more space, and then you can kind of build it more and more. And so you're slowly building up your town. And then I was like, oh, this is nice, this is good, I'm doing great. And
Yeah.
then I built it up way too fast, and then all of a sudden my people were not happy because they were doing nothing but working. I didn't bring put anything in there for like joy or happiness for them. And they were like,
Oh,
these people are not happy, they're not going to work as fast or something. And I was like, this is not good, this is not good. And by the time I tried to reverse course, um, we ran out of food, we were all dead, and I had to restart. But I've done like four. That was my first time. I was like, this is great, this is great, doing great, I'm killing it. And then I realized, oh no, I don't have any money.
you are killing it. You're
Yeah,
killing them.
killing the entire village. Sorry, y'all. Um, but yeah, and
My
then
bad.
so then, um, I learned, okay, I don't want to build it up quite as fast. You kind of like take your time, and then you can get some villagers, but then make sure you get enough food. Like I got like a fishing one. I got
Mhm.
like a trade depot, so you can like use your stuff to sell resources. And then you'll sell a certain amount of like wood each day. So I was like, I'm running low on wood, so I had to like make two more lumber yards, and I made two more lumber yards. But then that helped me with tons of wood for myself, plus the wood that I was selling each day, in game day. And so then more and more people were um they were like happy, and I was adding stuff that they would enjoy. And then you can put stuff, if it's closer to the people's homes, then it'll
Mhm.
add happiness to them, and then they'll be happy about that. And yeah, yeah, Townkeeper, it's a fun little game I've been
That's
playing.
that's a lot more in depth than I thought it was gonna be. Because you showed me like a little bit, like a little screenshot of you playing it, and I was like, okay, you're gonna be playing this for like 80 hours
uh,
because you like these types of games.
Yeah.
I particularly do not. So, but I do enjoy hearing that there is mechanics and like it's actually like intentional of how to actually balance you building in this town. Because a lot of these things are just like, hey, you can build it this fast to get to the next thing. You can build that fast to get to the next thing. Here, it's like, no, these people like thoughts like opinions actually matter. It's like, hey, you're making the slaves basically here, and you're like, whoopsies, I
Right.
didn't realize I was doing that, you know? So I do like that concept, and if I had to play something like this, I would want something like that to happen because this actually makes you plan better. It makes you think more. You know, you're actually going into it. It's like, okay, I just can't be like working on like workhorses. You know, I actually have to think about where I want stuff. And I do like how if you place something next to them, like close to their home, they will like enjoy that. If I'm assuming it's like fun things, not like you're putting like the warehouse next to them. They have to go to like work in the slaughterhouse or something. You know, I'm not expecting like that, but I do like the concept, and I
Yeah.
do like the art style and how it looks. I think it's pretty clean for being like that little pixelated kind of look, you know?
Right, yeah. And it's definitely fun, and then not only that, but I've like been making it further each time, but I haven't even gotten to the point where once you get to a certain part, like people will come, they show you in the top, like people will end up coming and you'll need to fend them off, so you need to like not only get your people ready and prepared to live, but then also um build up an army so that then you'll be ready to defend yourself. But if you have an army, then you need to have like more food, more things like that. And yeah, so it's definitely a game I'm enjoying. And like you said, yeah, I'm probably going to keep playing this for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm gonna pop up in one of your streams in like next couple of weeks. You'll be playing this, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'll be like, might as well play a little town keeper while we're here. But yeah.
Mhm.
What about you? You said there's another game you were playing?
Okay, well, I played this a little earlier, but I wanted to mention this because, like, if you didn't know, we got the Game Awards nominations for like all the
Oh,
categories this week. You know, and I know we talked about it, and I did not really play anything nominated for Game of the Year. So I have like no horse in this race at all. So I can't really talk about that stuff. But I did play some stuff that's got nominated in other categories. And I think I'm gonna go with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown because it's actually on sale right now for like the Black Friday stuff. You know, I think it's like
yeah.
$20 on Amazon, which is like really good because like all the DLC came out with as well, so you can get like that and like the DLC for pretty cheap. It'd probably be like 26, $27, I think, altogether if you do everything. But yeah, I'm actually a big Prince of Persia fan. It's just like most people who are Prince of Persia fans now, they're fans of the 3D ones, and that also includes me as well. So this one is not like the 3D ones. It's a like 2D like a Metroidvania platformer. And man, let me tell you something. Like it's obviously like Ubisoft's like budget title, you know. They didn't like put like the largest amount of budget into this. But the art style itself looks pretty clean and like the character portraits. I like that. Some of the backgrounds look pretty nice, you know, but like some of these enemy designs and such, a little here or there. But the actual movement of playing is sublime. I love it so much.
Yeah.
And it's actually more focused on like platforming challenging than like fighting. Of course there's fighting in it, but like, you know, you're going through point to point to point to point. And it's actually pretty nice because the map is pretty big. And it's a Metrovania, so some parts of the map are going to be blocked off. You have to come back and use your new powers to unlock them. But even early on, there's a good amount of sections you can, kind of peek into and see, oh, like what's going to go on here later on. And I like that stuff too because I like to collect, things. And I like it when games reward me for that. So you can get like a couple more little things before you do certain bosses. But like that's only if you explore. And I did that a couple of times and it's pretty fun. The platforming sections themselves can be pretty challenging, but like it's pretty fast when you mess up and you come back. Ubisoft is really excellent
Yeah,
at stuff like that.
and they have a lot of like save points and things like that because played this too, and yeah, I agree with you about like the quality of life things that they have with like taking a screenshot of something so that you can come back to it later.
Yeah,
Um,
and you know instantly what it is because a lot of these games have like the map markers. You can place them down. It's like, oh, I got to go back here. And this game does that as well. But this one has like the picture thing, so you can just look at it on your map and like, oh, this is the one I need the bow and arrow for. That kind of thing.
yeah, exactly, and and then it's like easier than oh. Okay, so like in like Metroid games, I'll see like, or even like Castlevania, like those Metroidvania games, um, you will see like okay, you just kind of have an idea that you need to go somewhere because you'll see like oh the map stopped here and it looks like the way the map is in my head this is how I would say it. And the way the map is and the way my um body moved to it, it looks like I could use this power there. So let me try and go there and use that power. Um
Yeah.
and yeah, that but yeah, that's um what is it, half off everywhere right now pretty much. You have Switch,
I think
everything
it's more
else.
than half off. I think it's more than half off because I think it's 50. I think it's 20, so a little bit more than half off. But yeah, it's really fun. And like I said earlier, is more focused on the platform sections, but the combat itself is still really good because there's just so many things you can link up once you unlock them. And like there's like the charm system, like in Hollow Knight, we can like ability, like you put certain abilities on yourself to make it easier or harder, that kind of thing. And like you can just go in like the training mode and just practice stringing up certain combos, and they're actually legit combos and they're really fun. And like he gets like new abilities every so often for like you do like bow and arrow. There's like this like other little shield thing you can kind of do. Uh, there's like one where you can like make a copy of yourself and you can like zoom back to it when you want to. You can use that in fighting. You can use that in the platform sections. Most people are going to use it for the platform sections, but if you're able to pull it off while you're fighting, it is so cool because you can just like make a copy, like dodge, and then like do a string of moves, and then like you could dodge again by just going back to your previous copy and just like like uh, just like body slam like the boss down, and you just constantly do that, and it's so good if you could pull it off. Because I wasn't able to pull off, everything I wanted to do, but like even the stuff I could, it was just so good. And like they have these extra harder challenges, and man, those are sweaty challenges. Like not only are they long, but they're just like you have to like be precise. And again, like I want to complete these things because I'm very stubborn person, and I like having things that are challenging that I think are doable, and I think these are doable. So I always want to try my best, and like I said, dying and coming back is pretty fast. So it's not like you're constantly going through like all these loading screens and like having to put that in your time frame. And there's like little things to collect too. Like there's these little coins you can use in the shop to upgrade like your swords, your weapons. Buy more little medallions for you can wear to get more abilities. And
Yeah.
it's it's honestly one of the favorite things I played this year. And I feel like for like the Nintendo people, like I've only played like the Nintendo stuff. Like this is my dread, like Metroid Dread, because a lot of them like Metroid Dread, but this is my dread. I think it feels almost as good as that, and I think it has a more fun combat system. And I personally like the uh, setting and story a little bit more, even though I think the story kind of falls off at the very end. But you can't give Ubisoft everything, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, right?
Yeah, on sale, I think, for everything. But now, uh, the only bad thing about this is like probably not gonna get another one. But I think it's still
Yeah.
really good to play. and I think it is a lot overlooked because it came out like July. I mean, it came out in January. It came out super early in this year, so kind of got buried, and it was at that $50 price range, which I think did throw off some people. But honestly, I think it was worth it. But obviously, like they didn't sell enough, so we can't get it anymore. But I think you should still play it, especially if you like these Castlevania, Metrovania games. I think you really should play it. It has
Yeah,
excellent combat, nice map, and it's not overly long either. You can probably do like everything like in 20 hours or so. So
yeah. And I played it on Switch. I have it. I got it on Switch, and that's where I played most of it. But then I got Ubisoft, shout out to Ubisoft, sent me a code for it on over on the Ubisoft app or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called.
yeah.
I just play it through GeForce Now, but yeah. But being able to play it in handheld mode is quite enjoyable.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because just being able to take stuff on the go is always nice. And I think it has a demo for everything, so I think you should be able to try it if you want. It's like the
Oh,
first. I guess it depends how you play the demo because I did do the demo like 2 or 3 times, because like there's like multiple ways you can go, and I do remember reaching the end of the demo like in 10 minutes one time versus like 40 minutes to like an hour the next time,
oh yeah.
just that type of stuff.
Yeah, I think yeah, because it's like up until you get to a certain boss, I think.
Yeah, and
Boss
it just
fight.
cuts off.
So if you want to like explore more, um, for me, I was exploring, but then accidentally ran into the boss and then it ended. So then I played it
That was my
again
first.
and knew
That was my
not to
first
go
playthrough
there.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I explored a little bit longer, and then I wanted to see how fast I can get to the just that point. Because I'm a curious person like that.
Yeah. So that was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. In terms of other games I've been playing, I was trying to think of what else I played that I really wanted to um, talk about because we got what Townkeeper,
Mm-hmm.
um, Neo Neo Harbor Rescue Squad, and then the one I've been going back to most nights because I mean outside of like I'm playing uh, you know like Fortnite or whatever. I have been enjoying my time with well, I can't even remember the name of the game that I was. Arcade Paradise is the name of it. So
Oh,
I played
okay. A
through.
little bit of throwback.
Yeah. So these devs made Vostok Inc. Right, which was like twin stick shooter that was um you would it would be it was a twin stick shooter that was also like you would go to each planet and then buy property on each planet and then you were slowly getting more and more money, so it was like an idle game mixed with a twin stick shooter, where this game is you um are starting up you're working for your dad, working at his laundry mat. Is first person. So people bring their laundry. You got to put it in the wash, put it in the dryer. You have a certain amount of time. You can check your watch. You kind of get an idea of when you need to do that. But then while you're doing that, you go also have to go around, clean the any trash you see around, and then every once in a while go up to like the coin machine, click on that, and get the money out from that based on how long it's taken or how long it's been. It'll slowly fill it up. Um, and then in the back room, there's like you open up an arcade back there. Your dad doesn't know about it. He's not in town. He just keeps checking up on you to make sure that the laundromat's going well. He doesn't care about
Mhm.
the other thing. He was like, "Don't do the arcade. It's pointless." But as you go on, you just slowly start making um, more and more money. you reinvest that money in the arcade, and you can expand it, make it bigger, get more stuff going on in there, while the laundromat kind of just stays the same, and you're just doing your stuff at the laundromat. But yeah, so it's kind of like almost like an idle game, sort of like an interactive. So it's like you got to wait for the laundry, and then while the laundry's getting done, you got like 3 minutes. Um, so it'll be like 3 minutes of real time, but in that time, it that could be like 3 or 6 hours in game, you know. So, um, but while that's happening, you can go and play the arcades that you have. You can go and like just go around, collect the money, do any of your cleaning that you need to do. You can play like a little game on your phone, stuff like that. And so you're constantly looking for stuff, trying to find the the best way that you can like save up money um to work on it, right?
Mhm.
And so you want to like build up the arcade, and then eventually you start off with like, I think it's like 2 or 3 arcades, and then eventually you expand it, and then you got like 5 arcades. You can get a pinball machine, but then any of those arcade games that you have, you can go and play them, and then like eventually you'll get high scores. You'll have like leaderboards there, and you gotta like play. You'll get challenges, and then when you complete the challenges, you can buy stuff on the computer, which is like the equivalent of like eBay. This takes place in like the 90s, I think, because you
Yeah,
have
it sounds like it.
uh, like a almost um, a ThinkPad, like one of those like old, like remember like it was like a touch screen before the iPhone where you use like a stylus to do it. Um,
Oh, it's like shoot.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. It's gonna kill me. We're gonna say the name of it exactly as this thing ends too. I know what it
I
is.
know.
We
It
it's
will
not
be like,
me.
well, thanks for listening. But yeah, so you have one of those, and then you have like challenges that you need to complete. It might be like get a challenge, get a high score in some game, or do some sort of thing in one of the games. And then you do that, and then you can buy stuff on eBay, which is like the because they have like stuff that you can arcades that you can buy, but then they have like eBay stuff, which is just upgrades. So you can buy like different shoes, and then you move faster, so you're walking faster around, so you can like get around quicker. Other stuff is, I believe one of them, it's like just different things to help speed the time around. It might like speed up the amount of time in the arcade in the laundry, so you don't have to wait for the laundry as long. Things
Oh,
like that. Yeah. So it's pretty fun. But yeah, it's a game I've been enjoying. It is on. I'm trying to think. I believe it is on like you know, the like Game Pass, I believe. So you can play that if
okay.
you have Game Pass, but I'm playing the Steam version through GeForce Now. But yeah,
Okay.
um, it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. Um, and yeah, that was Arcade Paradise. And then I know we have some other games that we're gonna talk about, but we can always talk about those next week. You know.
Yeah. Put a little more
Um,
time into them, so we get a little bit of
yeah, yeah. Put a little more time. Plus, yeah, I think next by this time next week have played like Stalker 2, um, hopefully some other games, and then we'll be able to talk about those.
Yeah.
Um,
I hope my secret game I was supposed to play this week
oh
shows
yeah,
up next week because I think it'd be a lot of fun.
yeah, I think it will as well. But yeah, you'll have to tune in next week, episode 6, to
Yeah.
see that. But thanks to everyone that is listened this far, and we'll talk to you at the next episode. Toodaloo.
See ya.